I was FaceTiming my friend a couple weeks ago, and she was telling me about the therapy appointment that she had just had. And it was so weird that she was telling me about this. We're kind of going through similar but also very different things in our lives. What she was going through in her therapy appointment resonated with me. She was talking to her therapist about how all the ways in which she's improved over the last few years. And then she kind of tops it off with, but I still have a long way to go. And her therapist was like, why don't we stop there? Why don't we relish in how far we've come? Why don't we enjoy where we're at? Crazy concept, right? She basically said, what if you have arrived? And that has been sitting on my brain for the last month. What if I've arrived? Because the last couple months, basically since I turned 30, I've been feeling very existential and feeling like, it's such a grown-up age. I feel like I really need to get my life together and start figuring out a way to make more money, which is just like a ridiculous thing to even say in this day and age, in my opinion, because nobody can seem to make enough money and everybody is working 2 jobs or a side hustle or whatever. But I have just felt so immature in my wanting to live a creative life. And I just have felt like, okay, I need to put my big girl pants on and go to school and get a degree and get a high paying job, and then I'll have enough money so I can have kids. And then I fucking stopped myself right there because I was like, queen, when have you ever thought this traditional way in your life ever? Never. I immediately relaxed when my friend told me what her therapist said. What if you have arrived? Because for the last couple of months, like I said, I've been feeling existential. I've been feeling dreadful. Like, dread is a great word because I just felt like I was about to do something that I really didn't want to do. And I couldn't explain it because there was nothing that I had planned to do, but that's just how I felt. I just felt like whatever I'm feeling right now, it feels wrong. I chalked that up to, like I said, recently turning 30, worried if I'm in the wrong place, on the wrong path, led myself astray somehow by not being smarter earlier, whatever that means. And this was mainly sparked by my husband trying to start a discussion about when we're going to have kids. And I don't talk about this very often, but Kevin and I, for a long time, we've kind of been on different pages about kids. He's always undoubtedly wanted to be a father, and I have been very up and down. I think when we first started living together, I didn't doubt that we were going to have a family one day. When we were like 21, I was like, oh, one day it'll happen and it'll be so great. It's going to be so much fun. And then, as the pandemic hit, as my mental health declined, as the world went to shit, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm bringing someone into this world. And of course, I think as my brain returns to normal again, I'm like, okay, I think I will probably have kids. I think I'm going to be an older mom. I imagine myself to be a mom maybe around 38. When I picture my 40s, what the fuck? In 10 years, I guess. When I picture my 40s, I think I could see myself being a mom. I could see myself taking care of someone and having a family. That does sound nice to me. But of course, this conversation terrified me. It made me feel like I needed to figure out my life immediately. And when I have imagined being a mom, I have always thought I'm going to have my life together before I do that. Like, I will know every single thing about myself and have a extremely established career before I have a family, which, what does that even mean? Especially in this day and age. So when Kevin brought this up, I felt so panicky and I was like, I gotta get my shit together. I gotta figure out what I want to do. Like, we're running out of time, people. And traditionally, I guess this looked like school to me. There's a handful of people in my life, when I think of if they have their lives together, they are going to school, they are establishing careers. Or to me, maybe that looked like finding a way to do the things I love in social media, in art, while working for someone else. But all of that sounds awful to me. Going to school sounds awful to me. Working for somebody else sounds awful to me. I don't think that's revolutionary. I think most people would agree with some of those sentiments at least. And not in a way of, ugh, I just don't feel like putting in the work kind of awful. More so in a way of like, I don't feel aligned with that at all, at least at this time in my life. The only thing, like when I picture my dream life, I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I know I feel so aligned with the idea of working for myself, finding a way to be creative while working for myself. That sounds like my dream fucking life. And I think I've put that on the back burner because I'm like, well, wouldn't everybody dream of that? But I don't think everybody does dream of that. Some people want to work for other people to keep it simple. Some people want to go to school and have super like academic ass jobs. That's just not what I dream of. And I think I've had a lot of shame around that because maybe that way sounds the most traditional and like reliable. But I think reliability is like out of the question in this day and age because no jobs are reliable in this economy. A creative job, there's a lot of opportunity in it these days. In these times compared to years past, it is a lot more accessible and doable. And on the discussion of kids, if we're talking about if I become a mom, if/when, the more I thought about it, the more I realized if I do have kids, I don't want to show them to settle in their lives or to settle in what they want to do in any way. I would love to be able to show them that they can do whatever they want and take a more untraditional path if that's what they want to do. Because that's the thing. I wouldn't say I have anybody in my life who's like showed me that, to be honest. So, on this topic of arriving, I started asking myself, what would my life look like if I really have already arrived? How would I be acting in my day-to-day life? What would I be doing with my weeks and my months? How would I act every day if I really did know what I wanted to do? And I quickly realized I knew all the answers and I was just ignoring them. I still feel fear when I think of the things I want. The difference is I feel excited and ready when I think of the life I really want. I've been spending so much time working on myself the last like 5 years. I was really at a point where it's like, girl, we just got to get through the day. We just got to get through the day. We got to unload the dishwasher. We got to put a little makeup on. Like those little tasks felt impossible to me years ago. So now I'm at a point where like I have remembered who I am again, to the point where I'm getting a little bored. It's like when you're working on yourself all the time, you kind of get in this mindset of, I just have to keep working on myself till I fucking die. And then you kind of stop and realize, oh wait, look how far I've come. All the tasks that used to feel impossible to me, like literally impossible, are just continually easier every day to the point where they feel like nothing. They're not taking up this like mental load for me anymore. Like putting on makeup, doing my hair, getting dressed, doing chores, exercising regularly. All of this stuff comes so naturally to me now, whereas 5 years ago, it was so hard for me. And it just felt like a task just to live like a normal, regularly healthy life. So now I feel like all this working on myself has really set me up to feel ready for what's next. Like I'm twiddling my thumbs like, okay, my life is established now. I live in this beautiful home that feels so aligned with who I am. I get up every day and I look like the person that I want to look like. I wear the clothes that I want to wear. I act the way I want to act around most people. I'd say I'm at the point where I am the same person in most of the rooms I'm in. And I feel like that is something to flex. I feel like not a lot of people can say that. So I'm like, okay, what's next? But I feel scared of what's next because I am kind of arriving at this plateau of comfort, I guess, in this like new established life for myself. But I think how I can distinguish what I want and what I don't want, what I desire and maybe what's expected of me, how I separate the two and understand what each means to me. I feel dread and anxiety for the things that I don't want, but I feel like maybe I should want. The fear is way bigger. You know, this feeling like I was saying of feeling like I'm about to do something I don't want to do. I just can't put my finger on why or what that is. The fear is bigger because I just know I'd be starting a new path that I don't belong on. When the reality is I've been paving the goddamn path. Like I've been active on socials for like 5 years now, and I'm not where I want to be by any means. But I think just in the way of, I've been showing up for myself these past 5 years, not just in taking care of myself, but when it comes to sharing myself online. I think when I look at videos from 2 years ago, I literally want to cringe and die of embarrassment because I'm so insecure and I don't know what to do with myself and I don't know what to say and I don't know what to share. And showing up for myself every day in some form, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube occasionally, the podcast occasionally, I'm establishing that path for myself and I continue to do it. And I'm like, why would I give that up? And since I've been asking myself these questions more, what would my life look like if I really have already arrived into who I'm like supposed to be to live my dream life? What would my day-to-day life look like? I've been seeking out more opportunities where I can also learn from people who are taking more untraditional paths. I went to this women's panel like a month and a half ago, and it was so last minute. I just saw the ad online. A girl I knew from high school was on the panel, and she's living a very creative life. She's a musician. She does local audio jobs. Her wife is a local photographer. And so at this panel, I got to meet and listen to a bunch of women who are like working on traditional paths. And it helped me kind of like widen my scope more in terms of what my life can look like, and that my life can look like something that I want it to instead of what I feel like it should look like. I read The Unfair Advantage back in January. I listened to the audiobook. It really helped me understand how to increase my luck and acknowledge my strengths. I really think everyone should read this book because I do have a lot of limiting beliefs based on like I said, my upbringing. I don't have anyone in my life who like showed me you could take an untraditional path and be successful. So it's hard for me to understand that those opportunities are there for me. So this book really helped me understand my own strengths and your own kind of levels and areas of intelligence. There are all sorts of intelligence, not just book smart. You can be street smart. You can be emotionally intelligent. You can be creatively intelligent. You can be socially intelligent. And guess what? I've got all that. That's actually incredible. I have emotional intelligence. I am artistic and creative. I've been that way my whole life. I have social intelligence, and that was kind of like a skill that I realized I had in my early 20s and something I was willing to explore more. It's just a skill that I've continued to strengthen over the years. I'm a great communicator and storyteller, and this is what I think is so great about having so many different friends. I find when I'm in an insecure state, I will often compare myself, which is like, duh, everybody does that. But I'll find myself comparing myself to people who are amazing and intelligent in their own way. But it's like there's no comparison because we're just not the same people. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's helped me understand like I possess strengths that a lot of people don't. And that's great too. Like I said, I'm a great communicator. I'm a great storyteller. Those are like skills that I've tried to hone in on in the last few years because it's what I love to do. I love being on camera. Ever since I was a teenager, I kind of love being the center of attention. Like people are always like, I could never post videos online. Like not even in a sense of being scared, just literally saying like they have no desire to be perceived. And I can't relate. I desire to be perceived. And I used to think that was like vain and there was something wrong with that. But I think, like I said, we all have our strengths, and I think it's beautiful and like healing for me to be able to appreciate that part of myself that wants to be seen. I love expressing myself and sharing myself with other people. And something I have really kind of realized lately is how much it can impact other people. Like being yourself can really inspire other people and make them realize they have the option to do that too. And I think that is like a very valuable tool and like gift to give other people in this world right now, to be able to understand that they can share themselves and like be who they want to be. And that feels like all I want to do. In the past, I would literally like shame myself for having these traits and like assets. Like, who needs emotional intelligence? Who needs creative intelligence? Like, being book smart is the only thing that matters, and it's all the world needs, and it's the only way that it's going to make me successful, which I am smart too. Don't make me do any math or science, but I'm a great writer. I am intelligent in my own way, and it will lead me to success. It's just insane that I would try to shame myself for not possessing what like traditionally what someone is successful would possess, which is just not true. But it's crazy because all of these traits I possess, creative intelligence, emotional intelligence, these are all things that literally make the world a better place. I've been ranting about this to all my friends and my sister, and me and my sister were out for dinner yesterday, and we were ranting about this. And she's like, girl, there are people who go to school and are dumb as hell. Like, there's no correlation. Like, you can be smart and go to school. You can be smart and not go to school. And when I think of all the people that I look up to online and stuff, most of them haven't gone to school. Most of them have built like a creative life for themselves off of being resourceful and understanding their strengths, which is something I'm capable of. And there's even people who have gone to school, like Victoria Hutchins. She, you know her, the yoga queen on Instagram. She was a fucking lawyer and decided, I don't want to fucking do this. I want to be a writer. I want to be a content creator. And she fucking did it. And now she has a New York Times best-selling poetry book. Like, I've never leaned towards that life because it's not for me. And it's not, I've always known that. There are just moments of like shame that creep in, I guess. I was literally talking to my therapist about how much I fail to take myself seriously and really struggle with making fun of all the things I like. People know this about me in real life. I love mainstream music. I'm such like a corny quotes girl. I'm a very spiritual person, but I always make fun of I make fun of the music I love. I make fun of the fact that I love like a corny ass quote. Every time I give you a corny ass quote, it is given in the most sarcastic voice you've ever heard. It's like I have a lot of shame around posting online and feeling like, oh God, like, are people going to think I'm like a traditional influencer who's like so fucking cringy? When it's like, bitch, I can make this whatever I want it to be. And my therapist was like, why do you make fun of all the things you like? I think that's something you really need to work on, because I think it keeps me in a box. Making fun of all the things that I love keeps me in a box of like not being able to take myself seriously. So that's something I've really been working on. And like someone who really inspires me, everyone in my real life knows how much I love Veronica Slowkowska. She's one of the funniest fucking TikTokers ever, but more importantly, she's a comedian, she's an actress. She just got on SNL this year. And I just love her content. I love reading interviews with her because she has made a whole career from being unserious, essentially. And that's really inspiring to me. And I was reading an interview with her. I think she was in Harper's Bazaar or something. And they asked her, like, if you weren't doing this, what would you do? And she was literally like, I don't know. I'm not good at anything else. And I just think that mentality is so cool and inspiring. Like, what could we all be if we just embraced the things that we were good at and tried to eradicate the shame that we have from it, feeling like it's not traditional or it's unpopular or it's silly and goofy? Like, I feel like the world would all thrive if we all just embraced the things we really wanted to do. So that's why I'm back, by the way. But like I was saying, I have struggled to take myself seriously for a long time. I think especially since my mental health dipped like 5 years ago and I just didn't see anything good about myself. I would constantly cycle between, when it comes to content, I either need to give up and start something new or I need to start taking myself seriously. I kept telling myself I wasn't in a position to take myself seriously, which was really ironic because I had so many reasons to take myself seriously already. I had partnerships lined up. People out and about are asking me like, what's it like? What's it like being a content creator? Like, and me being like, what do you mean? Like, I just make videos. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So what does my life look like now that I take things seriously, or I'm working on taking things seriously? I'm seeking out opportunities to increase my luck, like I was saying, just like seeking out opportunities where I can learn from people who are even just maybe going in the direction that I want to go, whether it's just like living a more creative life, even if they're not doing the same things as me or they're working for themselves. Like, there's always something to learn from other people, and putting yourself in those new environments. That's another thing. Going to that women's panel was an opportunity for me to take myself seriously, because I would introduce myself and be like, hey, I'm a content creator. Like, I make videos for local businesses around town, and I just love, sharing my life, helping other people with videos. And that was an opportunity for me to like go against my imposter syndrome and not be like, the whole time I'd be like, you idiot, like, that's not a real job. That's not your life. You work in an office. Like, but it is my life. It is what I do, and it is what I love to do. And I have my vision board for this year. Very beautiful. Lots of quotes. Because remember, I'm a quote girl. Why are you scared of your own potential? Think less, act more. You are way too creative for a 9-to-5. And this one is really, really good for me. Experience builds a different kind of confidence. And that's been my theme since the beginning of this year. I started an art class in January. I did a painting class every week for 2 months just to like be out of my comfort zone and learn a new skill and meet new people and try to like be more disciplined about my creativity by like having somewhere to go once a week to do that. After my art classes ended, I started taking yoga classes just to kind of be in a new environment around new people, challenge my feeling of, I think I have a lot of trouble being perceived because of my eating disorder stuff too, because even in yoga class, it will feel, when I started it felt like my body was on fucking fire. Like, I just felt so awkwardly aware of like every piece of me being perceived, and I fucking hated it. And every week that I returned to yoga class, that would die down a bit. Just continuing to like challenge myself in those ways was really important to me. And then seeking out different panels I can go do, or just like things I want to do. Literally just thinking of something that I want to do and doing it instead of just thinking about doing it. Working on my computer and iPad out in public helps me take myself more seriously. That was something after the pandemic that like really freaked me out too for some reason. I just felt like, well, what do I have to work on? And everyone's gonna think I'm a fucking phony on my laptop. I don't know. But it's like, no, I have shit to work on. Might as well do it in a nice environment and, dress up and feel like cute and professional about it. I take notes like all the time now. I think that's a big thing. This is another reason why Veronica inspires me, because I can't remember exactly what she said, but she was basically like talking about how her videos are so silly, but so much work goes into like trying to make it seem effortless. And I think that's something a lot of people have to remember when people are working towards things they really love and a life they really want to live, is like, it takes work. I think especially online when we're just casually scrolling all the time, it seems like people are just effortlessly showing up every day on a whim, just talking about whatever the fuck they feel like it. But I think the truth of the matter is a lot of it comes down to writing and planning and taking action on your inspiration, which is really hard these days in this environment where we are constantly encouraged to like not listen to our own thoughts and shut our brains off by like staring at our phones all day. So I've been taking more notes, and I write all the time. You guys know I journal every fucking day still, and my iPad is like note city. I'm just trying to listen to my brain more and my feelings. When I feel creatively inspired, I try to act on it. And I also, like I said, even when I don't, I try to show up anyways through painting or yoga. And that's why being consistent is really important to me. That's how you build confidence and are able to take yourself more seriously too. I think last year my whole goal was to just be consistent in short form, and I hardly gained any followers, but I learned so much about myself and like how I want to show up online, and that simply, I wouldn't be here if I didn't do that. Like, the time will pass anyways, girlfriend. I try not to consume too much, but when I do, I try to do it in a mindful way where I'm really consuming someone who's inspiring me or living a life that I might want to live in some way, because it helps me remember, like, why would I be exempt from that? People all over the world are freelancing, expressing themselves creatively in some form. I'm tired of convincing myself that I don't have that opportunity, because I do. It's right in front of me. And the common denominator that I've been really taking in since kind of being in these spaces around more people who inspire me, or just like consuming more content from people who really inspire me, the common denominator I always hear, I heard it from a talk I watched online from a local photographer. I heard it from a local musician. I've heard it from Victoria Hutchins. So many people said they went down paths that they knew weren't right for them, what they felt like they should do, not what they wanted to do. And they ended up on the creative path anyways. And now they're doing what they know in their hearts they wanted to do. Like, why would I try something like going to school, getting a job that doesn't feel aligned with me, if I know it's not right for me? Like, if I know that in my heart, why the fuck would I waste my time? And on the feelings of like, what if this isn't sustainable? What if I hate this in 10 years? What if I fail? What if I'm not good at it? All of these limiting beliefs, I hold all the fucking time. It's what keeps me frozen in fear from moving forward, as I'm sure a lot of us can relate. Talked to my therapist about this, and she's like, just switch it up. Like, I don't know if maybe I won't be doing therapy in 10 years. Like, girl, I don't know. Like, I think the common thing that propels any of us forward is just like taking action and seeing where it leads you. Like I said, which is why I'm here, back on the podcast. But like, are you not more likely to succeed on a path where you feel genuinely excited and passionate? Why not follow the things you're naturally good at? That is how you add goodness to the world and to yourself. So that's what I've really just been trying to work on this year. I think at the beginning of the year, I really prioritized my hobbies, because I was like, maybe if I like engage in these things that I know I loved in high school. I was such an artsy kid. I loved drawing, I loved painting, I loved ceramics, I loved guitar, I loved creative writing. I loved performing. I was like, okay, I'll just take an art class to kind of get the ball rolling. You know, maybe something will stick, and then I can figure out what kind of like career I want to make out of whatever ends up sticking. Which is like, it's so funny that I had that mentality at the beginning of the year, because now I feel like I'm wasting my time, not in a way where I'm like, oh, I'm not being productive. I feel like I'm like, girl, you're putting off the things that you actually want to do, like making videos and starting the podcast and sharing your life. I struggle to put this under the category of like creativity, because so many people are doing it now, and because of the whole influencer stereotype, it just feels like it's watered it down and made it feel really like surface level, I guess. But it's like, I can make this whatever I want it to be. And I feel so often when I'm mindlessly scrolling that so much of it just feels the same and like tiring and boring, and it's getting me to a point now where I feel like I really don't give a fuck in terms of what people think. I think that's something that continues to hold me back, is like, what are people going to think of me if I'm like honest about how I feel in life, or if I'm just doing this instead of like building a career, which who knows, maybe I am building a career out of this, maybe. All of that used to hold me back, but now I'm like, I just find myself caring less and less, because I'm like, life is too short to not express myself and do the things I want to do, and you know, give my 2 cents to the world and hope that it resonates with someone. Like, I was just watching Foster the People's Coachella performance last weekend, and Mark Foster, right before he sang Pumped Up Kicks, he went on this tangent that inspired me so much. He was basically talking about, the first time we played Coachella was 16 years ago. I was living out of a hotel and like feeling like giving up on my creative career once again. Like nothing was coming to fruition and felt kind of hopeless. But then once again, like a wind caught my sail and I was like, I'll give it one more shot. And 6 months later, his life changed and his music took off. And he was talking about how like he knew there were creatives watching, and it's like there's never a more important time to share what's on your mind and your experiences with the world, because people need it and people might resonate with it, and it will hopefully inspire other people to live lives that are more aligned with themselves and ultimately like create a better world. That's incredible. So that's why I'm back. And I hope you got something out of this. And I hope you can continue in little ways to live a life that feels more aligned with the path that you want to take. This was fun though. I'll see you next week.